Hi guys and gals, so we're on to our last type of graph. This type of graph is a line graph. So a line graph shows information that is connected in some way. It is a graph that uses points connected by lines to show how something changes in value as time goes by or as something else happens. So they have an x-axis, a horizontal, and a y-axis, which is vertical. Usually the x-axis has numbers for the time period, and the y-axis has numbers for what is being measured. Line graphs can be used when you're plotting data that has peaks, ups, and valleys, downs, or that was collected in a short time period. So right here we said measured. So remember, data that is measured is continuous data. Okay, it's measured, and we connect the points on the graph because we can look at how something changes, and if something changes, it doesn't necessarily only jump by one specific or a whole number. It can jump by part of a number, or it can go down by part of a number. So for the example we're going to use height. So every time we go to the doctor when we're children, they usually take our height and our weight and they plop it on a growth chart to see how we're growing. So I came up with an example for Cassie's growth. And remember, we did tables of values and ordered pairs in a previous unit. So just a quick reminder that typically they're listed X and Y. And when you get an ordered pair, you're going to have 0, 21, so it's going to be listed like that, and that's what we use to plot on the graph. So I have my TSNE sticky over here just to remind me what we need for each graph. So let's go through and get our graph ready to put our points on. So we're going to start, we need a title, so I'm just going to take the title right from the chart, and it's going to be called Cassie's Growth. Okay, the next one is start at 0, so I'm going to put a 0 right down here in the corner. Okay, we have to name and label X and Y. So here's my X-axis, here's my Y-axis. Okay, and I'm going to put her age in years down here. Okay, and I'm going to put her height in inches over here. Okay. Then we have to do equal steps. So I'm going to have a look at my information. I go from 21 inches to 62 inches. That's a pretty big span, and I know I don't have 62 inches up that side. So there's a little cheat we can do to skip a bunch of numbers. So we're going to put 3 dots right here, and I'm going to start at 20. And now, in order to get all the way up to 62, I'm going to count by 2s. So make sure, same thing, you're labeling at each line where it intersects with the edge. Okay. Nice and neat. Practice writing small. Hey, perfect. That's perfect. And on the bottom, we have lots of room to get to 12, so we're going to just count by 1s. So now we're ready to plot our points. So our first point is 0, 21. So I don't have 21 on the chart, but I do have 20. So I'm going to go right in between 20 and 22. That's where 21 should be. So we're going to put our first dot there. And remember, it goes with 0, so we have to go right on this first line. Okay. The next one is 1, so I'm going to skip over to the next line, and I'm going to go all the way up to 29. She had a big growth. Big growth year from 0 to 1. Okay. Then we're going to skip another line and go to 34. And you're putting neat dots right on those intersecting lines. On the lines that are going up, those are the ones we're using. Okay. Then 36 is the next year. Then 37. Then 41. 45. And 46. And then 49. 52. 55, and 55 again, and 62. So now that we've got all of our points listed, our last job when we're doing a line graph is to connect the dots. Don't forget to connect the dots on your line graph, especially when it's measured data, because when she was 0 to when she was 1, she didn't all of a sudden wake up on her first birthday and she grew that many inches overnight. Remember, she continually grew throughout her first year of life. So we're just going to connect our dots. Use a ruler if you can. It helps to be as accurate as possible. Alright, and there we have it. There we have our line graph. So remember, the last part of any graph is making conclusions. So we're going to make 2 conclusions for the information displayed on the graph. And I'm going to say that she grew the most from 0 to 1. I can also see that she didn't grow between 10 and 11. Okay, and there are other things to note as well. So go ahead and make one more conclusion on your own. That's our last type of graph. So if you ever need information when you're completing lessons 4, 5, come back to these videos, have a look. It'll help you understand and remember how to create these graphs, because that's part of it, and also how to use the information displayed to make conclusions and to talk about what you're seeing. So good luck on your lessons. If you need help, be sure to get in touch with me on Google Classroom, Google Meet, or Google Chats, and we will discuss this later.